Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's your host, Primal here, back with another podcast. And today's podcast is going to be me talking about my high school years. In my last podcast, I did say that I didn't really know where I wanted my podcast to go. So, um, I think I'm just going to have nice little topics like these all the time. Well, and like I said, maybe invite a few friends to make an appearance on my podcast as well. But besides that, yeah. So then this podcast, I'll be talking about my high school years. Um, why did I decide to go with the topic of my high school years? Well, I, I think high school is kind of like the epitome where we all kind of really figured out who we were and who we are and what we wanted to do in the future. Uh, and by the way, I'm doing this podcast literally at 6:21 a.m. right now. So I got up pretty early, and I am terribly sorry for missing out on my last week's podcast. I was really, I just my mind kind of slipped. I was too busy playing video games with my buddies and all that. And I honestly, I should probably just start recording gameplays with my buddies. I think it would make great quality content. But like I said in my last podcast, I think I'll just keep my YouTube channel just dinosaur content and all that. So I got myself a big old cup of coffee, um, as I can prove it, as I'm going to take a nice good old sip. Mmm, mmm, that winter blend is so good. Anyways, like I said in this podcast, it's going to be me talking about my high school years. So, before we get into any of this, I would like to say that please turn on that bell notification. That way, you get notified every time I upload a podcast or even one of my videos. And also, don't forget to like the podcast and leave a comment down below on what I should do to improve my podcast and what you want to see in my podcast. And as always, subscribe to my channel. It helps me get back into being motivated and uploading more content for you. And, well, you just get to see more of me if you subscribe. So, with that said, uh, let's go on and get into the topic of me and my high school years. So, let's start off eighth grade, going into high school. Um, I was expecting high school to be just like the like every kind of show that you see. Like high school is where everyone is commuting, or like high school is like a really big place. Yeah, like in the shows they always show like there's a lot of freedom in what they do, like skipping classes and walking the hallways, like and even like at lunch going out onto the bleachers and doing all that stuff. But when I got into freshman year, I was I was like, oh, I'm going to get my locker assignment and all that. But apparently, it's like I didn't get a locker. Apparently, you have to go to the office to sign yourself up for a locker. And even then, like, what was the point of having a locker when you could carry your all your stuff in your backpack and to every class? And that's what I did throughout my high school years. But freshman year, um, I really was not really. I didn't know what I was wanting to do, so I didn't really sign up for any clubs or anything like that. I did take drama. That was the only thing I did, and then I did drawing one, which was very fun. I got to learn how to do proper shading and uh, posing, and and there was another thing. It was mostly me learning about shading, which was really fun. But then so starting off my first semester, uh, I didn't really find anything that I really was interested in. and I was just kind of really winging everything. Um, and as usual, like uh, in middle school, I failed history so badly. I was not good at history. Like there was a few subjects that I was really interested in, like World War II, and especially when it came to the Manhattan Project. I loved talking about the Manhattan Project with Oppenheimer, and it was just that, um, like those topics, those were really fun. Those ones I really, really were interested in. But like as high school or like freshman year kept going on, it was really nice to see a lot of my buddies from middle school, and I was like, oh, "Hey guys, I had this one friend in middle school. His name was uh, Paul Pazinski. I think that's what his name was. Um, and he he would always go by the name Bubba, and that's what we always named him, and that's what he I think he legally changed his name to Bubba for some odd reason. But anyways, he was a really big guy, like big guy. But then when high school came, like he completely changed. Like he was super jocked and very he wasn't as a big guy anymore. And I guess that just really kind of changed him a lot because he stopped talking to me and amongst other things. But yeah, and I when high school came, I thought I was going to get bullied a lot because in middle school I did get bullied a lot by this annoying kid. Kobe White. I remember him because he literally tormented me since fourth grade, and I'm a pretty big guy. I'm about like 6'1", and this guy was only like 5'4" or something like that. And he didn't like it wasn't like physical bullying. It was psychological bullying, and those are the worst ones where he kind of just he pokes the bear basically is what I'm saying. And it's just that he was really terrible, just a terrible kid in general. Lied a lot about stuff too. And I mentioned in my last podcast my best friend Braden. Um, in middle school we had a huge argument, and we stopped being friends for literally I think it was about a year. A year we weren't friends because he started hanging out with Kobe White. I think that's what it was. And then I got back to him and was like, "Hey, can we be friends again? Like I really miss us hanging out all the time." And he was like, "Yeah, sure." We became best friends again. um but then yeah, like once high school came around, he wasn't there anymore, so I was really happy that I didn't have to deal with that asshole. um but in high school I was really expecting to get bullied a lot, and I didn't. There was only this one guy that was really annoying. Uh, he was what he was doing, it was just like it wasn't mean. It wasn't really harmful or anything like that. And how I look at it, but he was really annoying, and I think he knew how annoying it was to me, so he kept doing it. And it was like he was would like do really homophobic stuff to me. Not like that. Like how do I put this without me sounding like I'm a asshole for it? He would do really homo gestures to me, and it was really annoying. It was like really annoying. He would blow kisses towards me in very sexual ways, and like I eventually did go to the principal and told him about this. But by the time I did, he was already graduated, and I didn't had to see his face, his ugly mug again. So that was great. Um, but anyways, my first sophomore year failed history tremendously, and the failed science, which you would think like a guy like me would be into science, but not really. I'm only into like very certain subjects of science, but any other subject, I'm kind of like that's boring. So, oh, that's so good coffee. But anyways, my once the second semester came, um, I tried out weight training, and I actually really did enjoy weight training. I don't know why I didn't do it for my senior year. I really should have. It probably would have kept my physique going. But anyways, sophomore or like, well, not sophomore year yet. My freshman year, um, I was really just kind of going with the flow, just kind of just taking it one step at a time, you know. But then uh, I met a person. I met two people actually. I think it was freshman year that I met them. Uh, for for reasons I will not name the other girl, but the other girl, I actually made a cameo appearance on her YouTube channel, actually a few times. Um, and that would be Gabbie. I've probably mentioned her in one of my older videos. I don't mention her a lot. I'll make sure I tag her in the comments down below or in the description of this video. Just go definitely check out her channel. I don't know if she does YouTube anymore, but she has some really great content on her channel, and I miss her every day. You know, like I miss talking to her. I think she visits our state a few times. I know she's down. I think she's down in Texas for college right now. I'm not. I can't remember it all quite well, but we started creating. We had our own little friend group there for a while, but I I I don't fully remember if we met freshman year or it was sophomore year. But anyways, the other girl, uh, I still talk to her. She's we still keep in contact, but I just she told me that our freshman year we got off bad terms. We just didn't like each other much. But anyways, once that was over, heading off to summer vacation, me, Braden, Matt, we all hanged out all the time, like as much as possible. Just like either it was going to Braden's place or it was going to Matt's place, or if it was coming to my place and we would just have like some game nights. I remember, I can't remember if it was freshman year or it was a later year, but I remember they spent the night at my place, and I was like, "What if I just go sleep in the closet?" And I ended up going to go sleep in the closet, and that's what I did. I slept in the closet, and it was the most comfortable I've ever been in for some odd reason. Because it was nice and cold. It had that old smell that that reminds me, like when you smell like when you put your blanket in the closet and you forget about it for like a month and you bring it back out and it smells like, you know, the smell. It's like that old smell. But anyways, sophomore year. Now my sophomore year, um, I remember I was trying to do more things. I wanted to do more things. Thank you, Microsoft Defender. Thank you for telling me that there is no virus on my PC. But my sophomore year, first semester, I wanted to do more creative activities. I didn't take drawing again because I ended up failing that class because I didn't turn in like photographs of my drawings, and apparently, yeah, that was annoying. Um, so I didn't take drawing. I don't think I took any other classes that were like that. I did take photography though. I did take photography, and that was fun. I really, really did enjoy photography because I got to really learn a lot about perspective on taking photography. I also ended up failing that class, anyways. Really annoying. I was not a great student. I really I had a really hard time trying to understand some of the subjects. I was just I have autism and ADHD. So my ADHD really kind of didn't help that I had a really hard time focusing on a lot of things because like my mind would just drift off into other places. And it was just that I didn't focus at all. Um and I probably could have done better. I could have done better. I could have done so much better. But with high school, it was just that my issue was I always didn't focus on a lot of things. That was my biggest issue. So, but anyways, with photography, um, we all the students were assigned a old camera, like those developed film cameras, and we had to go through the process of developing the photos and make sure they look perfect, they weren't exposed to anything. But my teacher would always get mad at me because I would always expose my pictures. But I told him that's how I usually like it. It looks better like that. But he always kept getting angry at me because like, this is not the assignment. You're failing the assignment. That's not what you're supposed to do. You absolutely minded little shit. No, he didn't say that. But I could tell by the tone that's what he was saying. But I cannot remember if this was the round. I think sophomore year was the time that I met Ethan. I don't think I've done any videos with him on my channel. I think I've only done a few. No, I did. I did do a video with him. The first Phasmophobia video I did with him. That's Ethan. We did Phasmophobia. We tried doing other gameplay series. We tried to do one on Ark, but that ended up not working so well. Or I No, I lost a video file for that one, which was really annoying. Um, but we I think we met sophomore year. I'm like 90% sure. I'm not 90%. I'm 70% sure that we met sophomore year. Um, but no, yeah, we met sophomore year because in the second semester I started taking welding, and that's when I think I first met him. Um, and we met. I met him in sophomore year and second semester of welding. I wanted to do welding for some odd reason. Like I said, sophomore year, I really wanted to try all these other different classes, and I wanted to try to build as much knowledge as possible and doing all that stuff. I did take drama again. I don't know what was with me. I was so drawn to drama for some odd reason. I don't know. Probably because I thought it was going to be an easy class, but it ended up not being an easy class. But besides that, when I took welding, obviously failed it. But it was really nice to learn how welding works. Apparently, I could never get the fine detail of doing the actual welding, which you do like tiny little circles very slowly, and you got to move it downwards. But apparently, every time I did that, it failed. I like either I made the welds too thin, or I made them too big, or they were too crooked, or something like that. I don't know what I did wrong. Um, but anyways, I met Ethan through there. I saw he was playing Pokemon Go. I said, "Hey, I play Pokemon Go. Which team are you on?" And I think we were on the same team. We're Team Mystic, and we were like, "Yeah, we're Team Mystic." I think we were Team Mystic. I think we were whatever that one other guy group is, the yellow one. I can't remember the names because I don't really play Pokemon Go much anymore. But anyways, that's just how we usually kick off. That's how I usually try to make friends. I try to find a connection and I just go on for that. But I think sophomore year is when we really figured out that Ethan was like, "Oh, what did we get ourselves into?" So I introduced Ethan to the group, me, Matt, and some other people, and we ended up becoming really great friends. And uh, Ethan had a truck. Now, in high school, if a person had a truck, that means free rides. Sorry, I'm sorry, Ethan. I'm sorry, Ethan, if you're hearing this, but it was honestly true. That's what me, Braden, and Matt said. That, oh, this guy has a truck. He could drive us anywhere. But anyways, later on, he ended up starting to say, "Hey, I'm gonna have to start charging you guys for all these rides," and I was like, "All right, that's fine." So, um, but yeah, we ended up really hanging out a lot, and Ethan became one of our new friends that we always hanged out with. So, yeah, and I think that was kind of wraps up sophomore year. I can't really think of much. Oh wait, no, the the other girl that I met in freshman year, the one I will not name for safety reasons. We ended up becoming good friends. We found out we have a lot in common. Um, and it was great. It was great. Oh wait, no, I totally forgot. I can't remember if I think it was freshman year. You get homecoming. I'm pretty sure it was homecoming. I'm no, yes, no, yes, and anyways, homecoming. Homecoming was coming up, and I wanted to ask out a girl, and I already had one girl that I had a crush on, and I ended up asking her out. She said yes, and that was one of the most interesting homecomings that I've ever had. I've never. It was my only homecoming. What I'm saying, um, because we all met up at the mall. We all hanged out. We had some fun. But then when it came to getting a ride, my family was going to give us the ride. We ended up have to me and the girl. We ended up had to walk on the other side of the mall because my parents parked on the other side of the mall and didn't tell me that they parked all the way over there. So that's what happened. So we got to the school. We had homecoming. We had a lot of fun. But then once it came to the slow dancing, oh boy. Now I was a very nervous kid. When it came to talking to girls, let alone being close proximity to a girl. So when it came to doing the nice, slow dancing, romantic moment, that was really, really awkward for both of us. We even noticed. I even noticed that she was like, "Oh God, I'm not ready for this. This is happening so fast." But like her friends are right next to us, and they're saying, "Get in there, get close to each other." Like, and it was like, so we ended up doing the slow dancing, and once it was done, we were both like, "Oh, thank God that's over with." But that was a lot of fun. And then once homecoming was over, everyone was going home. Um, she was like, I offered her my jacket so she could stay warm, and because that's what a gentleman does. Ladies, I'm kidding. Uh, so her ride came, picked her up. I was still there for quite a while because somebody, my parents were out at the casino because they thought I would be there a little bit longer, but no. So I had to wait a little bit longer, and it was really, really cold outside. It was like probably around maybe 40 degrees outside, and here I am in this like tuxedo. So it was really cold. Luckily, there was still a few other people there, so I could talk to. But besides that, yeah. Now, now moving on to my junior year. I signed up for a thing called Crimson Crew. Crimson Crew is a a kind of like a club that helps freshmen adjust to high school life. So we were there to help any freshmen kind of get settled in with the like high school and all that. If they needed any help, they would come to us for anything. So that's what we did. And I was like, I wanted to be the cool one. I wanted to be the person they would come to, like, give me a fist bump, bro. um, with that, uh, they never actually asked me for any help with any assignments. They were more like just, yeah, I was the cool guy. So, junior year, I was still doing weight training. I was really enjoying that, but junior year is when I was really struggling with a situation I have. It's and I had it for 8 years. Still have it today as well. It's just it's more maintained. I have a thing called achalasia. Um, for people who don't know what achalasia is, it's a very, very rare condition. Achalasia is a swellingness of the sphincter that connects your throat to your stomach, and that hole is supposed to be kind of wide open. It kind of is the to help the food go into your stomach, but the hole in my throat is so swollen up that it closes, and it's a very, very tiny little hole. So food, liquid, any kind of like that could not go down without forcing it with either some like with liquid. And if I didn't, it would sit in my throat like what ostriches do. Um, and it would feel like literally like I got a golf ball in my throat, and it was the worst feeling ever, unimaginable. And I would tell you this: there was only two outcomes for me to eat food: force it down with liquid, or it would come back out. That means I would have to now warning for people who are eating at the moment. This is going to get a little gross. I would regurgitate it back out, and it would be just this chewed up mass of food with a lot of like saliva and mucus, and it was a foul smell too, like sour. But that's what I had to deal with for 8 years, 8 painful years. And it did made me very, very depressed. I was not in the right mindset. I hated everything. I couldn't eat anything. I was very, very skinny. Very, very skinny. You could see it in some of my older videos that I'm very skinny at, like surprisingly skinny. I did had a really nice jawline though. God damn. But even my friends knew that. They felt sorry for me and there was nothing that they could do. And it took doctors 8 years to finally figure it out that I had achalasia. I went through so many procedures. I had a scoping of my throat, is where they shove a camera up your nose and down your throat, and you have to actively swallow that camera. And oh, even even I can still remember the feeling, and it's like, oh, it's an awful feeling, disgusting. So that's what happened to me in junior year that I remember. Um, oh, getting a little bit personal in here. So, junior year, I really wanted a girlfriend. Don't know why. I think it was because like all my other friends were getting girlfriends and I was like just a single third wheel guy, and it was really annoying. And I really wanted to be in a relationship. I wanted to know how it felt like to be in a relationship. So I ended up asking a lot of my friends out. The friend girls that I had, all of them said no. Um, and I did end up asking one girl. She said yes, but then like 5 minutes later, she ended up saying, "Oh, sorry, I actually can't do a relationship at the moment." And I'm like, "Oh, well, fine." Um, yeah. So junior year, I was just really doing a lot of things. Just trying to kind of like prove a point or like anything that could like really set my mark on high school that I wanted to do memorable. But it ended up like not really finding anything really cool. So yeah, junior year. Oh well, I did. No, senior year is when I did painting. Yeah, that's where I really found out that I really did love painting. So yeah. Um, Junior year, really nothing big happened that I can remember. Besides me getting the surgery to fix my achalasia, quote unquote fix. I still have it, but it's not as bad as it was. Um, yeah. Oh, I totally forgot to talk about this. Like, my throughout high school, I had a lot of hair change. First, I had was like this cyan green hair. I was really trying to experiment with that. So I had cyan green hair throughout. I think my sophomore year, junior year, I was doing like blonde and brown. So I ended up having like literally I call it the Reese's hair. So with that, yeah. And then I guess moving on to junior or no, not my junior year, my senior year. Senior year, I remember I really did not care anymore. I really just wanted to like get it out of the way and just move on from high school. Junior year, I didn't, or senior year, I didn't take weight training. Wish I did. Um, I think I ended up just taking a lot of easy assignments. So that's what I did. I took painting, which was really fun. Um, I remember I was trying to do this one painting for so long that my teacher ended up giving me double the amount of points for completing it because she saw how long I was taking on doing this one painting. Like every Friday would be a free painting assignment, and I would just keep working on that one painting. And I was like, I want to get this perfect. I want to get this perfect. So I did that, and she ended up grading me double the amount of points because I was having because she saw how much I was so dedicated on one painting, which artists should be. Uh, uh, oh, I forgot that throughout. I think it was junior year. I also did take pottery, which I had a lot of fun with, and I ended up taking pottery two in senior year. But I remember I met this one guy, Brian. He was an absolute asshole. Um, he was always constantly trying to sell everyone fake Rolexes, fake chains, and just cases of Mountain Dew. And it was just really annoying. Like the guy was just an asshole. And I remember that he even threatened to break into my house and steal a bunch of my stuff. And yeah, I remember that. And but he never did. So, and even if he did, I have machetes and I have cookery knives. I also have a giant wooden baseball bat that I could break upon his head. That's a joke. Don't report me for violence. Um, but like once home or not home, prom came around. Uh, my friend, one of my buddies, he got me a table and with him and a bunch of his other buddies. But Brian was at that table too, and he was telling everyone else that I couldn't sit there. And I was like, okay, well then where am I supposed to sit? I'm assigned to this table. You can't just kick me out of there. And like there was nothing that my friend could do. He was like, I'm sorry, dude, but Brian doesn't want you here. And I was like, okay, fine, um, whatever. I ended up trying to sit with my other friends with Gabbie, but like that didn't happen. So, and it was literally like straight out of like a high school movie. I was sitting or standing actually alone right next to the fruit punch bowl in the corner of this big O gallery and or this big old ballroom at a hotel in downtown, and I was sitting in the or standing in the corner right next to the fruit punch bowl, and I was seeing everyone else was having so much fun, and I was like, "This is the most saddest time of my life. I hate this. I'm going home." And my friend Gabbie, she ended up trying to convince me to stay, but I was like, "I'm not having this. This is it's really stupid." And and my buddy that was sitting with Brian, he ended up later on apologizing for me to me so badly that my prom was ruined. And by the way, I had no date for prom. Shocker. So I ended up just leaving, and one of the teachers ended up trying to say, "Hey, stop! You got to go back in there." I was like, "No, I'm actually leaving. This sucks. This is the worst prom ever." And the teacher was like, "Oh, okay, well, bye then." Yeah, and then my mom picked me up, and we ended up went home, and I just ended up staying in my room all day. And I was like, I hated this. I hated prom. My prom was awful. So that's what happened to me in senior year. Coming graduation time, um, there was one class I was failing, and it was civics, and I had to retake the test before I could even graduate. So I almost didn't graduate high school, basically, but I managed to pass the test and I managed to graduate. But even then, apparently, I technically didn't graduate for some odd reason. Apparently, I had one other class that I ended up not completing, and I had to retake it, or I already graduated. I had my diploma. It's sitting in a storage box somewhere, and I have the medal. I have my cap. I have everything. I have everything to prove that I graduated. I have the paper, and apparently my the counselor at my school ends up calling me, saying, "Hey, this is your high school counselor. I came to regret to tell you that you didn't graduate." Oh, like what? Um, yeah, I did. I have my diploma right here. Says right here, graduated. And he says, well, apparently not. Apparently you have a missing assignment and your credit score ended up becoming less, and apparently so yeah. So 2 years, 2 years I waited to get a job, and I got a job, and apparently I made up the score, and I was like, I literally called him saying, hey, stop emailing me, stop calling me. I made up the points. Now F off. So, not in those exact words. But with high school now gone, do I miss it? Yes, I do miss high school. For a lot of people, especially the kids at my work, they keep talking about like high school sucks and all that. I keep telling them, hey, every day that I think about high school, I want to go back to high school. Live the moment and enjoy high school, kids, because you never know how much you're going to really miss it. Um, and do I regret not being more active. I really do miss all the fun that I had with me and my friends. Weekends, studying, or even just playing games and enjoying our time together. Um, I really do miss it. I really do. Now, am I going to go to college? Yeah, I really do plan on going to college. I really do want to go to college. But at the moment, I do not have enough financial to cover myself to go to college. Um, but I don't know. Like I said, I don't know where the road's going to take me. Um, but I'll end up figuring out something. So, with that said, it is 44 minutes into this podcast, and this is double the length, or not even doubled. About 10 more minutes longer than my last podcast, which was surprising. Now, my next podcast, I'm thinking about doing the topic of dinosaurs, and I might have a special guest with me. So, with that said, as usual, please leave a like, leave a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on that bell notification. That way you get notified every time I upload a podcast or even a video. So, with the next podcast, like I said, it's probably going to be dinosaurs. So, with that said, I'll catch you guys in the next podcast. Bye bye.